How's it going, guys? And welcome back to the channel, and welcome to my, sorry for the title because it is kind of bland, Tuesday topic video. Like I mentioned on my video Sunday, my news video for Sunday, and I have a schedule that I'm working out certain days that I want to get videos up, so it's hopefully going to kind of get me more in the groove and get me more on a strict schedule of getting content and videos up to the channel. So before we go into what I want to talk about for this video today, I do have some gameplay footage here that I got from the Xbox One version of World of Tanks. It is a free-to-play game. There are microtransactions within it. Certainly don't have to purchase them to be able to play the game. I don't really put a whole lot of time in it. This is more of a kind of a fun time killer for me, but a free-to-play game, fun to play, fun to look at. I highly recommend you pick it up if you haven't. So with that said, I wanted to go ahead and do my first topic video for kind of my highlights or the things that I was really excited for excited to see and hear about at last week's Gamescom. Those of you who are not familiar with Gamecom is a huge international video game convention that's held in Germany. Brings in 300,000 plus people. Differs from E3 in the fact that they allow just the general public to come in. You can buy a ticket and go to Gamescom if you're just a fan. E3, you have to be within the industry to get into that still. So that kind of differs. It gives the fans the actual ability to go in there and see these conventions, see these press conferences, get to play these demos that you don't get to see at E3. So all you have to do is figure out a way to get to Germany and do everything else. But with that said, I mean, there was quite a few games they showed off. Microsoft had a press conference. EA had a press conference. Blizzard had a press conference. Sony was not there. They had some stuff that was showing up. A lot of third-party people showed gameplay trailers and footage like that, saying it was on the PlayStation 4, but Sony was not there themselves. But with everything that showed, there was a handful of games that got me really excited for what's to come for these new consoles. I think now here we are coming up on almost 2 years of these things being out. It's pretty exciting to see what's coming down the pipeline at the end of the year here and start in middle of next year. There's a lot of really good games coming out. One of them that got showed off, it skipped E3, so Microsoft held it back from E3, was Scalebound. Certainly excited for that game. That game's kind of an enigma to me. I'm not 100% sure how to feel about it. They showed off some gameplay footage. It certainly looked cool. The combat combo between you doing melee combat and magic combat and your dragon fighting at the same time, it was pretty interesting. So not 100% sure what the story is going to be and how everything plays out. You're just kind of be interesting to see. They did announce that there will be 4-player co-op within the game, and some of the battles look like if you've ever played Monster Hunter or Lost Planet, the big, huge, massive boss battles. That'll be kind of interesting to see how those play out. But I think Scalebound is going to be a game that's certainly at least worth keeping an eye out for and checking out next year when it comes out. Definitely be a game I'll look to pick up and maybe even get a review done for it. Another game that I was really kind of excited about, there was 2 of them. They were side-scroller, kind of games. One was called Bloodstained Ritual of the Night, and another one called Cobalt. The Bloodstained was done by the same people who did Castlevania, and it definitely has a Castlevania feel. But the spin with this one, it's the side-scroller with some RPG elements. So there's going to be a lot of loot, a lot of level upgrading, things like that. So that certainly was appealing because I really did like Shovel Knight, and that one's always been one of my favorite games to play, especially on my 3DS. And then Cobalt is a new game by Mojang, the people who did Minecraft, where it's kind of a futuristic type side-scroller with power-ups, and they have PvP mode where you can fight your friends and stuff. So that's pretty cool to see. That I really like those side-scrollers. There's certainly, I don't think they're games that I really put a whole lot of time into. Like you would say something like Fallout or Destiny or Dark Souls or anything like that. But it's certainly a fun game to, if you're just looking to get away from the big game, the big time-consuming play of like The Witcher 3. You just want to play video games and have fun. It's fun to have games like that out there as well, and a lot of them are really good games, like Shovel Knight. I've put quite a bit of some time into Shovel Knight on my 3DS. So They discussed some more games. The game preview program Microsoft did. They announced that Ark Survival Evolved will be coming to the game's preview. I've only watched a few videos or a few Let's Plays of Ark. It kind of looks like an MMO-ish type first-person shooter with dinosaurs, like kind of old school Turok almost, but in an MMO type setting. So it's kind of interesting to see. But it's really nice to see them to continue to support that game preview program. I recently downloaded Elite Dangerous, waiting for DayZ, and now this one to come out. I think it's worth doing, especially if they're going to do it a lot like Steam early access, where you can buy into the game and you continue to just get it as they update it, and you stay with the game as it grows. That'll be pretty interesting to see what happens with that. They talked a lot about Halo 5. I think Halo 5 Microsoft is really banking on that on being a huge game for them in this fall, this holiday season. And I think they have a lot of work to do. I personally think after the Master Chief Collection debacle, and then Halo 4 maybe not necessarily getting the rave reviews that they were hoping for. There's a lot riding on the shoulders there for 343 and Halo 5. And I honestly think they can do it. I think that can turn out to be a really good game. Forza 6, I've never really been that huge of a fan of driving games. Again, it's just more of a time killer for me. But they've always been amazing looking games. And 24-person online racing sounds absolutely ridiculous. So it might be one that I pick up going forward. And then the last two bits of news that I wanted to get out before the two games that I was absolutely amazed with and excited for and pumped for. They announced that Homefront will be getting a beta in the winter. If you ever played the Homefront when they put it on the 360, the PS3, it was a mess. The game was horrible. If you go to any of your local stores, I remember going into one of my video games, etc., which was a local store here in town. The guy showed me the back shelf, and the top three shelves and they were probably a good 50 boxes deep, were nothing but Homefront. That game was a wreck. It was a mess. So it's nice to see that they're getting a beta for this one this time. I believe the Homefront did a multiplayer beta with a purchase of another game when that originally one came out. It'll be, at least we get a chance to see it again. And now we know what to look for based off what we played previously. So if you played the first Homefront and you're kind of worried, I would highly recommend getting into the beta for this one, just to get an idea of what you can get yourself into the second time around. And then Microsoft announced that with the backwards compatibility program, Games with Gold will actually begin to be included with that in November as well. So I think that's a huge plus for Microsoft. That backwards compatibility originally only started off with hard copies and digital copies of games you've purchased. Now we get to use that on games that are free. And I know that the free program on both the Xbox and the PlayStation have always been a sore spot with the community. They're not giving us great games. They're giving us crap. But honestly, I honestly like the games that the 360 has gotten in the last few months over the one. So it'll be nice the fact that we actually get to take advantage of those as well with that backwards compatibility. So I wanted to spend the last few minutes talking about the two games that out of everything that was shown at Gamescom this year, I got excited for the most, and it sucks because I'll get one at the beginning of the year next year, and I'll get one at the end. The one at the end, they announced Halo Wars 2. They only showed a cinematic trailer. There wasn't any gameplay footage. I loved Halo Wars on the 360. It was one of my favorite games on the 360. I played that a lot with friends online. I love StarCraft. I love Command & Conquer on the PC. So getting to play an RTS game on the console that actually functioned well on the console was amazing to me. So I'm very excited to see another one coming. And then, you guys know me, Dark Souls is hands down my favorite video game series, Bloodborne with it, of all time. They showed gameplay footage or in-game footage of Dark Souls 3. I'm not going to lie, I got goosebumps, I got excited, I was like, God, I'm watching boss fights, I'm thinking, oh, I will do this, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this, and that's probably on my 12th death already, trying to figure out how to beat this boss. It was absolutely epic. I am completely stoked for it. Prior to Gamescom, they announced that they're working on DLC for Bloodborne as well, so we're probably going to get DLC and Dark Souls 3 relatively close together. So I'm going to have a lot of time and a lot of content to play on both of those games. Miyazaki is now doing Dark Souls 3 again. If you like that series and you're a fan of the series, this is a very good time to be a gamer and play in those games. So very excited for that. That was Gamescom for me, guys. There was, like I said, a lot of showing off, a lot of game trailers. If you haven't seen them, I highly recommend going out there and checking those trailers out. There was a bunch of games out there that they showed off. You know, they showed off another one called We Happy Few. Very weird kind of BioShock Infinite type feel to it. Kind of creepy, really fun to look at. A lot of stuff out there. I highly recommend that. Going out there and watching those videos if you haven't already. So, with that said, guys, again, thanks for your support of the channel. I'll get out a video on Thursday. That will be my first Let's Play video. Haven't really decided what I want to do with it, what game we're going to play. Probably more than likely Dark Souls, but we'll go from there. And then I'm wrapping up a few reviews for me to get it up here shortly as well. So, again, guys, thanks for your time, and I will catch you guys next time.